Welcome back to Kids, Chaos, and Killer Campaigns, the podcast for marketers who want results. Today, we're diving into a topic that can feel super intimidating, but absolutely doesn't need to be: marketing analytics. Now, before you hit pause or hop off this episode thinking I am not a numbers person, take a deep breath. This episode is for the marketers and the small business owners wearing all the hats and needing just enough data to make smart decisions without drowning in dashboards. Analytics can be your best friend. They don't have to be the enemy when you know what to focus on. Kind of like bedtime routine at my house. If I tried to fit in bath, books, playtime, songs, putting on pajamas, and brushing teeth with both my kids in under 15 minutes, I would absolutely lose my mind. But once I stripped it down to a simple routine of pajamas, brush teeth, one story, and a quick song, it all became doable and meaningful. So now it's time to do the same for your analytics. Let's simplify and focus on what really matters. Here's the thing: you don't need to track everything. You just need to track the right things. Metrics give you clarity on what's working, what's not, and where to invest your time, energy, and budget. It's also important to note that not all metrics are created equal. Some numbers, like website visits and email open rates, get a bad rap as vanity metrics, and yes, by themselves, they don't necessarily tell you much, but when viewed over time, they become incredibly valuable in identifying trends that can really help your business. They help you spot patterns and shifts, so don't throw them out entirely. Just don't obsess over them in isolation. Let's break down the essential analytics categories that every small team should be paying attention to, plus a few next level metrics that prove real value in marketing. Well, the first is website metrics. What to track? One, you want to track your traffic sources. And why this matters is because knowing where your visitors are coming from, whether it be Google search, social media, referral links, emails, helps you understand what channels are bringing people in. And that tells you where to double down. If 70% of your website traffic comes from organic search, then maybe your SEO is working better than you thought and it's time to invest more time there. It's also important to check bounce rate. A high bounce rate can mean your content isn't engaging or that the page they visited didn't meet their expectations. A lot of teams overlook this, but it's a huge clue into whether your landing pages are working, and how you can increase conversions is by decreasing bounce rate and keeping visitors on your site. And the last important metric to track for your website traffic is your top pages. Your most visited pages tell you what content is resonating with your audience. Are visitors drawn to your blog? Is it a service page? Is it a resource guide? And these insights will help you to build more of what's working. Your website is your digital storefront. If traffic's down, that could indicate a drop in visibility. If bounce rates are high, maybe your content isn't hitting the mark. Over time, all of these trends tell a story. And that story helps you decide where to invest your marketing efforts to create a website that is a high converting machine for your business. It's kind of like at daycare. If I ask, how was my daughter's day? And they say, good, that's really unhelpful. But if I ask, how was her day? And they say, she spent 20 minutes building a block tower and she took a nap for an hour and a half. Now I have super helpful insights to know what to expect for the evening. The next set of metrics to track is your email metrics. Some people say email is dead, but I strongly disagree with that. Email is your one completely owned channel, and it's something that you have to take very seriously and put time into. So what to track? Open rates. Like I said, this is a trend over time. Open rates can also tell you if your subject lines are compelling and if your audience is still interested in the content that you're sharing with them. So don't just look at a single email. Track these trends over time. A consistent decline might signal email fatigue or poor list hygiene. And when you look at those trends, you're able to optimize, A/B test, and deliver emails to the right people with the right message at the right time to, again, make this a high converting machine. Another important metric to track is your click-through rates. Your click-through rates tell you if people are engaging with your email content. Are they clicking on your call to action? This is where you move from the yes, they saw it to the they actually did something. A good open rate with a low click-through rate, that'll indicate your subject line or the topic got their attention, but you need better content or clearer call to actions within your email. And the last important email metric to track is unsubscribes. It is totally normal to get unsubscribes, but a major spike could indicate that you're sending too often or you're sending irrelevant content or it's just not resonating with your audience. Monitoring your unsubscribe rate will help you avoid list burnout, and it helps you tailor future messages to what your audience actually wants to read. My daughters are really interested in what I do, and they're constantly trying to learn, and I'm constantly trying to explain marketing in a way that a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old will understand it. I remember trying to explain what unsubscribing is to my girls, and when I did, my 3-year-old was really quick to ask, can I unsubscribe from brushing my teeth? I told her that unfortunately, toothbrushing is non-negotiable, but for your list, adjust based on feedback and engagement data. Again, you don't want to just focus on one email. Look at these all as trends over time. You might notice certain topics get high clicks, or maybe that Wednesdays perform better with your audience than Mondays. Those insights will help guide your strategy. Remember that week I've talked about when my 3-year-old was home for 3 days with a fever? She was on my lap during Zoom calls, I was behind in deliverables, and I felt like I was dropping every ball. But that Friday, when I checked my metrics, I was fully expecting a disaster. But guess what? Email open rates that week were the highest they'd been all quarter. And even in chaos, that data reminded me that your efforts are working, even if you can't see it at the moment. Our next set of metrics to dive into are your social media metrics. When it comes to social media, you want to track engagement rates. This is likes, comments, or shares. And it's not about how many followers you have. It's about how many are actually interacting with your content. A high engagement rate means that your message is resonating, and this is the difference between just posting to post and truly connecting with your audience. The more engagement you get on social media, the more the algorithm will show your posts to your audience, and that's inevitably the goal, to be seen, visibility. Which takes us into tracking your reach. Reach tells you how many unique people saw your post. So if engagement is low, but reach is high, your content may just not be grabbing attention. And if your reach is low, your content may not be getting seen at all. So it's time to start reviewing. Review timing, hashtags, content type. Are you posting carousels? Are you posting single images? Are you posting videos? Make sure that you're testing the type of content along with the copy of your content to expand that reach and make sure that your message is being seen. The last social metric to track is saves or shares. These are the high intent actions. Saves mean people found value that they want to return to. Shares means that they found it valuable enough to pass it on to their network. And this feedback loop boosts your posts in the algorithm, but also helps you to know what kind of content builds trust and authority with your audience. Social media is a lot like a kid's playground. Just because your post shows up doesn't mean anyone's playing with it. Everybody knows those pieces of equipment at the playground that the kids line up and wait to play on versus the ones that no one really plays with anymore. So check. Are people interacting or just scrolling past your posts like a tired mom on Instagram 30 minutes after bedtime routine was supposed to be over, pretending she doesn't hear her 3-year-old having a tantrum in the next room? And the last must-have beginners metrics to track are your conversion metrics. Reach, views, likes, shares, comments, none of that matters if you're not converting. So the first thing to check is your lead form submissions. This is often the first real indicator of interest. If people are filling out your forms, whether it's a demo request, a newsletter sign up, or a content download, you've moved them from browser to lead. And it's that gateway into your sales funnel. Now, that funnel takes us into tracking purchases or signups. This is the goalpost. Whether it's buying, registering, or scheduling, these actions show someone found value and took the next step. Beginners should track this very closely because it's the most direct path to return on investment. And the last conversion, which I would argue is the most important conversion metric to track, is your cost per conversion, especially if you're running paid campaigns. If you're running ads, you need to know exactly how much you're paying to get a lead, or more importantly, to get a customer. It helps you identify which campaigns are worth the investment and which ones might need a reboot. It shows you exactly what's actually converting versus what's just getting those clicks. All of these conversion metrics help answer the big questions. Are you attracting the right leads? And are those leads actually turning into paying customers? Is your marketing actually contributing to revenue? Because it's not just about how many leads you bring in. It's about how many qualified leads you bring in. One strong MQL that turns into a customer is worth more than 1,000 random clicks. Now, I know I said we're not diving deep into analytics, but we are going to take a few minutes to look at some deeper funnel metrics that are advanced but still essential even for beginners to understand. And the first is your conversion rates. Conversion rates tell you the percentage of people taking action. If 1,000 people visit your site, but only 5 convert, that's 0.5% rate. And for you, that indicates something is off. Tracking conversion rates help you fine-tune your funnel and your messaging. The next is your marketing qualified leads. Not all leads are created equal. An MQL meets a very specific criteria that show they're more likely to buy. Maybe they downloaded a guide or visited a key page and match your ideal client profile. Identifying these marketing qualified leads will help your sales team prioritize the leads that actually matter when they are doing their outreach, which takes us right into sales qualified leads. Sales qualified leads are the leads that your sales team has vetted and confirmed are legitimate opportunities. The jump from marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead helps show how aligned your marketing and sales processes and efforts are. So if you're getting a ton of marketing qualified leads, but none of them convert past that sales qualification, that's a big red flag to revisit your ideal client profile, your messaging, the channels that you're pushing on, because at the end of the day, sales is what we're all driving for. We want revenue. And without the qualifications through the process, you're missing that major link there, that baton handoff in the race. Which takes us right to marketing qualified lead to client conversion rate. Again, it's not just about the number of leads. It is about lead quality. This metric tells you if your marketing is attracting the right people who are truly qualified for your product or services. If 100 MQLs only turns into 2 clients, that's a huge gap worth investigating. For me, we're tracking conversion of MQL to SQL to client. We have an expected conversion ratio, and if we aren't pacing at that ratio, we are digging into the data and figuring out where the sales are being lost and trying to identify how we can draw in the most qualified leads to our funnel. We also track marketing attributed revenue. This is how you prove the value of your marketing efforts. If a blog post, an ad, or an email helped close a deal, you should get credit as a marketer. It helps to justify your budget, your strategy, and all of the efforts that your team is putting into driving revenue for your organization. And one last metric that I personally like to track is individual channel return on investment. This helps to tell you which of your marketing channels are actually bringing in more money than what you're spending. This is especially important for your paid campaigns. It is essential to know what is working best so you can invest smarter. If you're putting a ton of budget into social ads and you're getting zero return on that investment, it's time to take a look at that budget and see where you can reallocate to drive more qualified leads. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's not the number of leads, it's the number of qualified leads that are actually going to convert to clients for your business. It doesn't matter if you're brand new to analytics or an analytics expert. A pro tip I have is to set a weekly data date where you block 30 minutes once a week to check in on your metric. With a coffee in hand, open your reports or dashboards and jot down for yourself what's trending up, what's slipping, what's meeting expectations, and what's surprising. This will really help you as you strategize and focus on which marketing efforts are giving the biggest return. Treat it like a play date with your data. If you miss a week, no guilt, no harm, no foul. Just pick back up the next week. The key is consistency, not perfection. We talked about a ton of metrics today, which I'm sure might have felt a little terrifying, but let's recap to simplify. Metrics to track. For your website, look at traffic sources, bounce rate, and your top performing content. For your email, look at trends in your email open rates, click-throughs, and unsubscribes. For your social media, you want to look at that engagement, your reach, and saves or shares to track the value of the content that you're producing. And with conversions and revenue, track those MQLs, SQLs, conversion rates, channel ROI, and marketing attributed revenue. Your challenge for this week is to pick one advanced metric. Maybe it's MQLs or channel ROI that you've never tracked before and track it. Start simple. Remember, one step at a time. Pick the metric that will be most beneficial for your business. Because just like parenting, marketing is messy, unpredictable, and never truly done. But when you pay attention to what's working, you can keep showing up smarter and stronger. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. I would love to hear the topics that you want to hear discussed, so please drop them in the comments or shoot me a line on LinkedIn. I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast, leave it a review, and share today's episode with a marketer who could use a little push into analytics. I'd love to connect on LinkedIn to stay in touch through this journey. My LinkedIn will be dropped in the show notes, so you can click there and shoot me that connect request. Next week, we're going to be talking about building your village, support systems for marketing moms. In the meantime, enjoy the kids, enjoy the chaos, and I'm wishing you all killer campaigns.